everyone to an extra special episode of the Fitness Business Podcast. Now, as you can see, and as you're about to hear, I am joined by not one, not two, but three very special guests for today. Now, before I introduce you to each of those guests for today, I want to give you a little bit of background because all of our regular FBP family will know that back in March of 2020, we started a little bit of a casting call to look for the new host of the Fitness Business Podcast. Well, not only were we overwhelmed with the entries that we received, we narrowed down all those entries to 3 amazing finalists, and we loved them all. So guess what? All 3 of them will be joining us on the show from July 2020 onwards. So we are so excited, and today is our chance for you to meet each of those new hosts of the show. So let me give them a very warm welcome, starting off with your new weekly show host, Dori Nugent. Welcome, Dori.
Hi everybody.
It is great to have you on board, Dori, and we're going to hear a little bit more about you in just a second. Let me now throw to our new value proposition host, Sarah Pellegrino. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone from sunny Charlotte, North Carolina.
Welcome, Sarah. And our third host, Jason Stowell. You might remember him from the show earlier this year. Jason is our Thinking Ahead show host. Jason, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is great. Thank you.
How exciting is this? I've got to tell you, after 5 years on the show, all by myself, I feel like the FBP family has grown all of a sudden, and it's grown at FBP headquarters as well. So just a super warm welcome to all of you. So during today's little catch up that we're going to have, we're going to talk a little bit about what it was that motivated all of you to be a part of the show. And then I would love to chat about what each of your individual shows look like, what people can expect to hear from you. So Dori, let's kick things off with you. First of all, tell us where you are tuning in from. Where is it that you live in the world? Tell us a little bit about what it was that actually motivated you to be a part of the show, and what are you most looking forward to?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am currently tuning in from Pennsylvania, a suburb west of Philadelphia. But as of about the second week in August, I'm going to have a new location. So I will be recording the podcast from sunny Florida, the Sunshine State, Anastasia Island. So I'm super excited. So when you hear me each week, that's where I'll be, maybe even on the beach as I'm recording the show. So what inspired me to apply for the show was, I saw that you were the Fitness Business Podcast was looking for a new host. And, I follow the Fitness Business Podcast. I've been on the show, and I just thought, what an amazing opportunity. Just because I work in the industry, I idolize a lot of the people that are on the show. And what a better way to learn more about the industry than to sit in the shoes of being the host and getting the chance to ask questions, listen, and then learn. So personal growth thing for me, which is just a dream. I'm super excited.
Oh, we are so excited to have you on board, Dori. And one extra quick question for you. Of all the amazing parts that make up the Fitness Business Podcast, what is it that you're most looking forward to?
Again, so many, being in the industry for so many years, and kind of coming up through the ranks of the industry, I've just idolized so many of the people that have been on the podcast. And that is just, I can't wait to interview these people, pick their brains, learn about what they do, how they do it, how they inspire people. So that's what I'm excited for.
That's definitely a great part of it. So Sarah, let's go over to you now. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Why did you apply to be a host, and what are you most looking forward to?
Absolutely. So when I, heard there was going to be an international casting call, I saw that first email and I said, that just like Dori, that would be a great opportunity. Save the email, put it on the to-do list. Then the next week, my dad forwarded it to me. You'd be great at this. You should apply for this. And so I took the leap and said, why not put my name in the hat? I spent quite some time in the fitness industry, made a little pivot into healthcare too. So I was really looking for an opportunity to just keep one foot in the fitness industry too. So it was a great opportunity, and I'm just so happy with how everything worked out.
That is phenomenal. So tell us, what are you most looking forward to about your new show? Don't give away too much because you're going to tell us about the show shortly, but what are you looking forward to the most?
The thing that I'm looking most forward to is that it's a new show. So every design element, every creative outlet that we're going to put into this show, it's going to be brand new. So it's a lot. It's very exciting.
What a teaser. I can't wait to hear a little bit more about what you're up to. So Jason, over to you now. Introduce yourself, just in case there's anyone that didn't hear your show earlier this year. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why you applied, and what you're most looking forward to.
So Jason Stowell, I got into fitness about 25 years ago, and I'm equally as passionate about personal and professional development as I am this industry. And so I've been a huge fan of this podcast, one of the few weekly go-tos for myself. It was a dream come true, even becoming a guest. And then I thought, oh, hey, they're looking for a professional development host. I'll apply, thinking that, unbelievable talent. And it's still pinching myself that this is a dream come true, that I'm now, going from an avid listener to a guest to a host. It's just unbelievable. This is a dream come true.
That is phenomenal. We're so excited to have you on board. And what would you say you are most looking forward to about this journey?
So my career, and back in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of professional development. The internet was still a potato, right? And so if you wanted to learn how to be better at many things in the fitness industry, you had to go outside of the industry to kind of discover best practices. And so I've kind of made a career of taking lessons from outside and applying them and converting them to be applicable here. And so I'm really excited to continue doing the same thing and help listeners, make the best choices for their business moving forward.
Excellent. You've actually just given me the perfect segue to talk a little bit more about your show, Jason. Now, right at the very beginning, I mentioned to everyone that your show is called The Thinking Ahead Show. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, what it looks like, and what listeners can expect when they tune into your show?
Absolutely. So one of the things that owners and operators struggle with, right, is how do you stay ahead of the curve? If you're already following the trends, you're behind the trends, right? And so what we're going to look at is what are the very best in industries outside of fitness doing right now? What's customer service look like? What does the retail piece to your fitness business look like? A pressing question right now is, now that we're all reopening post-COVID, does a virtual revenue piece still stay in your business, right? Or do you go all back in-house? And so we're going to explore those kind of questions so that we can have that competitive advantage and be in the place the industry is going now, as opposed to following and trying to catch up.
That sounds phenomenal, Jason. So tell me, who is your show designed for? Who should be tuning in to listen?
So honestly, I'm looking for to help the owners and operators that are looking to find new sources of revenue, right? You might already be the best in your industry for personal training. You might be the very best Group X studio, but what is that next thing? What is going to take you to that next level? I want that owner or operator who's maybe at one location looking to go to franchising or to 5 and set that pace and blaze their own path, and really define best practices. Exactly that. What is the best practice?
Excellent. I'm so looking forward to your show, Jason. Thank you for the overview. And we'll be making sure that when we post this video and we post the audio show, that you guys will be able to go directly to the website or just take a look underneath the video, and we'll put some extra details and a link so that everyone knows when your first episode is going live. I cannot wait for it. Thank you so much, Jason. Now, Sarah, over to you, because I introduced you as our value proposition host. Tell us what people can expect from your show.
Absolutely. So the value proposition is going to be a unique 30-minute show that's going to air once per month. And it's not just going to be a podcast, but it'll be video too. So really excited about that. And we're going to give suppliers a voice. So I lived the vendor supplier life for 5 years, and it can be difficult. And there's a lot of competition. It's not always the easiest thing to get in front of that potential client. So with this show, what we're going to do is we're going to get a really deep dive as to what that supplier and their company can bring to the fitness business above and beyond the product or service that they're selling.
I love the sound of that, Sarah. Tell us, how frequently we'll be hearing your show?
So you're going to hear it once per month. Once per month.
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about some of the guests that you've got coming up. Maybe you can tell us about your first guest that's coming.
Absolutely. So the first guest that I will be interviewing for the month of June is my father. So Sal Pellegrino is going to join us. We're very excited about that. It's dropping right before Father's Day too. So it's a special one for the pilot episode. But I'm really excited. For when I was starting in the industry early on, I was told by mentors to sell the value of my service. And that was really frustrating. So I think this show will give everybody just the insight that it's not just about what a vendor is selling. It's about the partnership, the support, the guidance, and the industry insight that they can provide. So I'm hoping that this show really sheds light on that.
I absolutely think that it will. Sorry, just hold up for a second. Okay, sorry. I absolutely think that it will, Sarah. That sounds phenomenal. Is there anything else that we should know about the Value Proposition Show?
Yes, it is not just a sales pitch. I want to be extremely clear about that. Club owners and operators, what you really need to know is that suppliers are out there traveling to hundreds of clubs a year. We're talking about other things, not just our product, not just our service, about all other things in your club. So suppliers are an incredibly valuable resource, and you definitely need to tune in.
Absolutely, Sarah. Thank you so much for that great overview. Now, I'm going to head over to your new weekly host, Dori Nugent. You are in the hot seat from the beginning of July. So tell everyone a little bit about what is going to be happening with the show. Maybe you can give us a sneak peek of some of the upcoming guests and what you have planned for the second half of 2020.
Yes, so super exciting. I have already completed my first 2 interviews. The first one was with Lisa Simone Richards, which is a PR expert. So great information there, just to talk about how, if you have something going on at your club, how to push it out, and how to make your story within your 4 walls get out to the community, not just your members, but out to the community, so that, of course, hopefully that'll engage people and bring them through your front doors. Today, I just interviewed Adrienne Antigua from Gainesville Health Club, which is in Florida, which I was super excited. I'm hoping to stop by and see that beautiful club. But we talked today a lot about club culture, and also just being post-COVID and clubs opening up. What does that look like? Is it the same culture on the day opening as the day you closed your doors? So as how's your team? How's their spirits? There's going to be a lot of changes with clubs. So how do you keep the spirits high? And, when not maybe all of your staff comes back, how do you re-engage everybody and get them super excited? And also fresh start. Maybe when you closed your doors due to COVID, your culture wasn't that great. So new start, new beginning, opening your doors. A lot of things are going to change in clubs. So how do you change your culture for the better?
Well, you've actually just named 2 of my all-time favorite people, because way back when we first started the show, Adrienne Antigua actually joined us on the show. And at the time we were talking about how to successfully run small group training in your club. And for anyone that's been part of the FBP family for a long time, you will remember that we were talking in that about tribe team training, our wonderful partners. And so I am so excited to have Adrienne back on the show, and I can't wait to be on the other side and actually listen to that interview, Dori. I'm really looking forward to that one. And of course, the amazing Lisa Simone Richards, who, as you just mentioned, is just phenomenal in the world of PR and working specifically with fitness professionals as well to really kind of transform and enhance their brands. Just an amazing operator, and an interview that I'm also really looking forward to hearing. So that sounds absolutely phenomenal, Dori. Is there anything else that we should know about the weekly show moving forward?
Yeah, just, listen, you never know what you're going to learn, and we can all learn and we can all grow both professionally and personally. And these guests that come each week, and we have a couple more other guests scheduled that I'm super excited about. There is no doubt that you're going to learn something from these guests, whether you are a club owner, whether you're a general manager, or even just a department head. There is a lot of learning that is going to take place on the second half of 2020. So there will be a lot of learning for the second half of 2020. But with that, Chantel, I think you have some news to deliver to our Fitness Business Podcast family as well. So why don't you share what that is?
I absolutely do. Well, as all of you know, the Fitness Business Podcast has been my life over the last 5 years. I have absolutely loved hosting the show, and there was no way that I could finish up in the weekly hosting role and not still be a part of the FBP family. So I am really excited to tell you all that I'm going to be continuing on as the host of our educational intensive shows. Now, for those of you that have been around for a little while, you'll be familiar with our intensive shows. It's a format that we've been doing for quite some time now. We're going to be doing these once per quarter, so you'll get them 3 times a year. And during those intensive shows, we're going to spend a lot of time doing a deep dive into one particular topic. Now, I'm going to use Jason as my example because, as you may have heard, we actually did one of these intensive shows earlier this year. When Jason took us through a really detailed 7-step process. So we're going to do the same type of thing. I'll be having one specific guest on for each show. We'll do a deep dive into one particular topic. Think of it like a short course, where it really is an intensive hour where you can learn specific actions about a topic. It might be sales, marketing, social media, finance, whatever that topic is, you're going to get specific actions to take away that you can use in your business. Now, in addition to that audio interview, and we're also produced as a video as well, you will also be able to access a downloadable ebook. It's one of my favorite parts of these intensive shows because it means that you can consume and use the information for yourself, but then you can download that free ebook and use it as a training tool for your team. That's one of the most valuable things about these episodes. So I've got to tell you guys, I am so excited to be hosting these intensive shows moving forward. We've got our first one coming up in around September of this year. So we'll make sure that we tell you all about it. I can tell you that the focus is going to be sales. You're going to really love it. So I am really excited about hosting those interviews moving forward. Well, I think that everyone can probably tell how excited we all are about the upcoming shows. And I've got to say, I feel like this is a huge evolution in the history of the show. After 5 years, we really are excited about taking on and welcoming all of our new hosts. The year ahead is going to be very, very exciting because I know that what it means for all of the FBP family right across the world is that you will continue to learn, you will continue to grow in your business, in your career, and all of us here will support you through that. So we are really excited to be joining you in the years ahead with this new look Fitness Business Podcast. Now, as many of you know, one of the things that we do on the weekly show is we finish off with our guests with our Keep Me Fit Bizbration. So today is no different. So I'm going to be asking each of our new hosts to share with us one professional development tip that they do that has helped them in their fitness career. And I'm throwing first over to you, Dori. Tell us, what is your number one tip?
Yep. So good question. What I struggled for a while with this because I just didn't really create a routine for myself. Sales director at a full service health club. And what would happen to me was as soon as I'd walk through the doors, and it didn't matter if I got there at 5:30 in the morning or if I walked in at 8 a.m., it was I was just bombarded. Staff had questions, my team had questions, members had questions. There might have been somebody there waiting to join. And it was like I just walked through the doors and got thrown into the trenches. And then, I think everybody can relate. Once that happens, the day goes by so quickly. And I found myself week in and week out. I just didn't have any time. I'd say, oh, I'm going to catch a webinar, or I'm going to, listen to a podcast. And it never happened. So finally, I got smart, and I have about a 40-minute ride into the club in the morning. And I really started doing the Audible books and the podcasts as well. And that 40-minute ride in, I used to just listen to music, flip through the channels, zone out. And I just started using that 40 minutes in the morning, and sometimes even on the way home, to listen to a book. And it's amazing how many books that I have churned through during that 40 minutes to and from work. So that's my thing, and that's my time. And sometimes when I get to the club, I get super excited and inspired because of maybe what I was listening to. Or sometimes on the way home, if, depending on what the day was like, maybe it would change my mood. So by the time I pulled in the driveway, I was like, okay, decompressed. Tomorrow's a new day, and it's going to be much better.
Oh, I think that most of us here could probably agree how much we love listening to books, listening to podcasts. It's a fantastic way to increase your professional development time, and a really great ritual to get into. So Dori, thank you so much for that. Jason, over to you now. Tell us, what's your professional development tip?
So anyone who happened to listen to my episode, I am a huge fan of making sure that you set yourself up for success in the morning. So I'm a big morning ritual person to prime myself, brainwash myself into the belief that I'm going to conquer my day. And for me, it looks like inspirational audio, a podcast, and generally I'll write a little bit, kind of listen, absorb, and project out. And so I always set aside about a half hour to 45 minutes every day to kind of prime myself. So when I leave the house, I just feel like I'm going to conquer the world. And so I highly recommend everyone just set aside at least some time to dedicate to yourself, your own personal, professional growth, and really be the best you can be every single day.
I love that. And I have to say, it's funny that you talk about that, Jason, because way back when we first started doing the show, I remember that there were a couple of really significant fitness leaders that talked to me about that, about their morning routine and their morning ritual. And at the time, it was kind of a new concept that I hadn't heard of before. And I started implementing those processes as well. And it's amazing how well it sets you up for the day. And I think the biggest sort of sign of that is the mornings that you don't do the morning ritual, or if you skip doing one of those processes, then all of a sudden it kind of throws you out for the rest of the day. So I'm a huge fan of that as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. So Sarah, over to you now. Tell us a bit about your professional development tip.
Absolutely. So my professional development tip would be to join an association, one that supports your career and will lift you up no matter what industry you're in. Find like-minded people. I took a leadership role very early on in my career as a founding board member for the Women in Fitness Association, and it still to this day is one of my very favorite parts of this industry, right? So it's a way to learn from others that have just been in your shoes before, like-minded people. And even if you've been in your career for 30 years or 40 years, it's a really great way to be a mentor and to give back to your industry as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is so great to be part of industry associations. And, it's interesting because my professional development tip kind of leads on from that, Sarah, and it touches a little bit on Dori's as well, because personally for me over the years, one of the greatest joys and the greatest routines that I've added to my professional development has been listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks on a regular basis. But for me, there's two kind of areas that have really solidified the learning process in that. One of them is learning from outside the industry. And I know, Jason, you talked about this earlier on as well. So I quite often will look to listen to podcasts that aren't in our industry, that might be in something completely different. So I'll look to learn about digital marketing or the latest sales techniques or information, or even look to listen to things about leadership or strategy. But then the second part of the process is what I think is the most important, and that is paying forward that knowledge. And this is what I was referring to with what you just talked about, Sarah, and that is being a mentor to people or sharing that knowledge. Because personally, I've learned that one of the best ways to retain information and to learn is to pay forward, is to teach someone else what you learned. So my professional development habit is to listen to content, write down some key points that I feel are really significant, can help me, but then actually reach out to someone that I work with or someone that I've known over the years. It might be a personal trainer that I know is building their business, and I'll share that information with them. And for me, that helps me personally learn, but I also have the satisfaction of knowing that hopefully I've helped someone else in their career as well. So that is my Keep Me Fit inspiration for today. So I just want to say a huge thank you. How exciting is this? I wish all of our interviews always had lots of guests being a part of them, and just a super warm welcome to all of you. I'm looking around my screen like it's a little bit Brady Bunch at the moment. We're kind of got people everywhere, but in all honesty, I could not have wished for a better group of people to be joining the show. It honestly means the world to me personally. So I want to thank each of you for taking on these roles. You absolutely have such an important job to do in educating fitness professionals right across the world. We are blessed. We are lucky to work in this industry. And I just want to wish every single one of you the absolute best and most wonderful journey in the years to come. So thank you all so much. And I will just briefly hand over to each of you to say farewell. And we're going to put all of your contact details, we're going to put your show details in the show notes for today and underneath these videos. Jason, do you want to just do a sign off for us today?
Yes, just again, to reiterate, I'm just extremely excited to be part of this show. I look forward to bringing everybody innovative, new, exciting content to build your businesses. And I just can't wait to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Sarah, over to you.
Absolutely. JT, Chantal, thank you so much for the opportunity. And Jason and Dori, I'm just so excited to go on this journey with you all. So can't wait.
And Dori, over to you.
Yes. Like Sarah said, I love our little family. I'm used to working with a team, so it brings me great comfort to know that we have this team, even including yourself, Chantal, and then JT that's, behind the scenes. But I'm super excited. I've said it many times. I'm well aware that I have big shoes to fill with following in Chantal's footsteps. But Chantal, you've been wonderful, teaching me everything. Talk about pay it forward. You certainly have been paying it forward with myself over the last couple weeks, and I'm extremely grateful. And I just hope that I can carry the tradition that you have done with the Fitness Business Podcast moving forward.
Oh, absolutely, Dori. I know that you will all do an absolutely amazing job. So thank you all for joining me today. It is officially time to sign off now. So very best wishes to all of you for your future on the Fitness Business Podcast. To all of the FBP family that are watching, that are listening right now, thank you so much for tuning in for our special episode today. All of us will see you at some point in the very near future, and make sure that you tune in next week for Dori's very first episode with her special guest, Lisa Simone Richards. So on behalf of all of the team here, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.